Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking today about Fanatec, and it's been roughly a year since Fanatec got to a point where they've updated and corrected the drivers for the GT Extreme wheel, which I have. I'm really pleased to say the last 12 months have gone really well. We have moved on from being an average racer, we've got to we've got to A+. We've maintained our S rating through all that time in GT7. We haven't really ventured out into new games, we've played a little bit offline, etc. But we haven't done a massive amount outside of GT. But inside of GT, we've gone from strength to strength really. We've got much faster drivers, and the firmware have been corrected, have really helped us go where we're going. So today we're going to talk about things like the drivers. New driver update has just come through. We want to talk about the settings. Effectively, I've got the very same settings that I've had on from the start. I reviewed a number of YouTubers' settings, those with videos, Eerie is, Digit, but having gone on from there, we've sort of today come across a new setup. And I'm going to try that out in the game, but I'm going to talk you through it initially, and I'll show you what the settings are. So if we look inside the Fanatec app, you can see it there. And if I go from the start, you will be able to see this is our wheelbase. This is the DD+. And the steering wheel we have is the DD Extreme. Pedals, which are not connected because we are connected up to a PC at this moment to be able to generate these images. But you can see there is the pedals. They are the V3 inverted pedals. Now you'll see there that we've got things like brake force and brake level indicator. The brake level indicator doesn't work in GT, so we'll have to gloss over that for now. If we work on, there's the tuning menu that we were just touching on. We have force feedback tests, which we can trigger and set. And I know you can't see that, but Christ alive, that is buzzing through my rig. Firmware update, as you can see, all my settings are up to date. We have a number of other things checked for update. For example, we can check there's no latest ones because I've updated to everything. In the bottom corner here, you can see the PC mode, PC driver 468, and we've got those firmware settings. So we're on a QR2 setup. But let's go back to what we really wanted to talk about, which is my setup and what we're on. I've used setup 5 for this, and if I go on my wheel, you can see that I can change between any of those setups. There is quite a distinct change, but we're going to start with setup 5. I'm looking over at my screen on the left hand side so we can see them, so you're going to see them on the other side of me. If I turn this over here, actually it probably means I can see them and look over this way better, and you can see them too. So setup number 5, we've got a max torque output of 9 Newton meters, which what this all adds up to. Sensitivity is set to auto. FFB, which is a force feedback strength, I've got to 60%. We can push this up and it changes the Newton meters, as you can see there, but we're going to bring that down to 60%. Full force is at 50%. NDP is 50%, and if you do hover over these, it will tell you exactly what it says on there. It'll tell you what it adjusts and what it does, so that you can get a feel of it. Natural friction is off, natural inertia is off. Interpolation filter, which is INT, is set to 11. Force effect intensity is set to 100. Force effect strength is set to 100%. Spring SPR, spring effect strength, set to 100, and damper effect to 100. In terms of steering wheel settings for analog clutch pedal, well, we don't use an analog clutch, and we don't have the clutch activated, so they won't work. We've got the brake force indicator set to 65%. Now, for supported wheelbases, the interesting thing here is that we can adjust the point at which the brake sort of saturates. What this means in effect is that you have to press the pedal less to get 100% of the braking force. So at 65%, which you can see mine pressed, I only have to press the pedal 65% to get the full effect of the brake force. So that sort of says at 65% we're locking the wheels up and sliding through the corner. So I only have to press it sort of 50% to get where we need to for stopping. Other settings, this is the BLI, this is the brake level indicator. That's when the force feedback comes on when you press the brake pedal. And in this case it's set to 65%. So if I'm pressing through the brake pedal and get to 65% where we've got full force, I get the vibration on, which tells me we're braking possibly slightly too much. We've also got setup number 4. Now, this is just taken from the recommended settings for the DD Plus. So you can see just distinctly how different just by swapping those about they are. So I'm going to be testing setup number 4 today. What I want to do is find a race that both of those are going to work on, and I'm going to see which one works out best for me. I'm normally on setup 5, so we'll run that first. Then we'll run setup 4 and we'll see what the difference is. But setup 4, max torque on this is 15 newtons, so this is taking all the force of the wheel. We might have to adjust that a little bit later, but you never know. We can do that from within inside the settings of the wheel, so we don't have to come out all the way of the game. But full force, FFB is at 100, full force is set to 100, natural damper on 50%, both NFR and NIN, both set to off. Interpolation filter is set to 2. This is one of the big changes. That was set to 11. So on 2 will be interesting. Force effect intensity will be 100%. Then the last 3, FOR, SPR and DPR will all be set to 0. And as you can see at the bottom, braking force 50%. What else have we had issues with then for Fanatec? Well, what we did have, and I'm going to take the wheel off, and you probably won't see it, but we had down here, we had the stitching come loose, and that's been loose for probably a month or so. Well, today, my good lady, which is Widdowmaker, fixed that. We've sewn that all up and got that sorted. And in terms of anything else, we haven't really done anything. I've actually got some modded fans, which I've bolted onto the front of the steering wheel base. I 3D printed them, got some electronic parts, fitted them together. They're just basically 2 internal PC fans. I'll show you an image here, and they'll be up on the left-hand side over the image of the wheelbase. Another interesting development that's occurred with Fanatec, and that is they have launched a product delivery service on Amazon. So if we can take a look at that now, if you put Fanatec into your search bar, you can actually find Fanatec products, as alongside other things, of course. As you can see on here, on the left-hand side, they haven't got listed as a brand yet, but you can see that they have the McLaren GT wheel here and Fanatec steering wheel. So those wheels you can purchase at the moment, according to this, are the GT3 McLaren wheel, which is very interesting. There is the CSL BMW wheel. There's the Rally. So just 3 wheels advertised at this moment in time. Pricing wise, you can see there 193.04. That might change dependent on your area, your location. As you can see, this is sold and dispatched by Amazon EU. It's not dispatched yet from Amazon UK. And you can see there as well, this is being videoed on the 13th of August and the 2nd of October. And as you can see, that's a wide range of delivery, and that's changing day by day. Discussing it last night with the people on the stream, we were talking that could actually change if that product actually arrives in the UK. So at this moment in time, I'm holding off ordering. I know the price looks really, really good, but with up to an 8-week lead time, I'm not generally anticipating wanting to place that order. We could actually go to the Fanatec website itself, and we could actually look at steering wheels, and we could actually have a look and see what the situation is here. Let's see what potentially is the issue. Let's it's going to be an Xbox wheel for the McLaren. I didn't realize the McLaren wheel was multi-situational. So at 219 QR2 wheel side, €219, what is the anticipated delivery? We're not going to see that, are we, from here? But again, if that's 8 weeks, does it say waiting for stock? Let's add it to cart and let's find out. Let's see what it says. Do we get any sort of notification of estimated delivery? It doesn't tell us at all, does it? It doesn't give you any sort of insight. So my expectation is that you'll be kind of receiving that sometime around about the 1st of August to the 2nd of October. So let's not overly worry about that at this moment in time. However, it's the usual case with Fanatec. They do seem to have some issues with supply from China. And I'm not doing Fanatec down. It's always been the case that their product is manufactured in China and shipped over. So Fanatec do have a history of advertising capability before it's available. But we would hope, as being part of the the Corsair team now that they would get a handle of that and be realistic about that that shipping sort of timescale. I'm actually interested in that wheel as well, the WRC one, and it is capable for PS5, which is great. And what is our expected delivery time? €184. £184 expected Friday the 1st of August, so that's 3 weeks. What was the CSL wheel situation? Let's have a look. That would be perfectly good enough for rally as well, I would expect. Let's have a look at the lead time. 1st of August as well, and significantly cheaper at $124.99. But again, could be different depending on where you are in the world and where you're watching this. So the good news is that Fanatec have got a foothold into Amazon. That's going to make product supply easier and better. You're going to have a better line for refunds or returns. Not that you would expect to have returns or refunds. What you want to be buying is perfect stock every time, and it wants to work for you. But we do have those moments, don't we? So the biggest issue I think everybody's had kind of with Fanatec is getting an RMS, getting a number, getting it sent back. With Amazon, it's slightly different to that, isn't it? You tell them you want to send it back for whatever reason, and you're allowed to send it back within like 30 days. So I've done that before with Amazon products, and it's really worked well for me. But yes, I'd definitely be interested in using their Amazon supply if it's possible. And that's great news for Fanatec, really, having that supply inside. The overall stock, the overall availability of product is a little bit limited now, but we're just talking about the foothold of Fanatec into Amazon. It's going to make product supply cheaper over time, one would expect. And as you can see, there are bundles available. There's cockpit, there's steering, there's pedals, and there's base units as well. So whatever really you're looking for as a starter unit, it's available from there. And I'm sure over time, actually their product supply will increase and get better. So I'm going to be watching that because there are a few other accessories that I want to purchase, and we'll try and get them from there. However, let's get into GT7 now and see where we're going. So what I want to try and do is find a little test, a little thing that we can use to test the differences between the two setups. We could do circuit experience, that would probably be better. So let's go and have a look at a circuit experience. Which track should we do? One that's relatively short. Shall we have a go at, we'll use the car that we've got displayed. Let's go to Spain. Let's go to Barcelona and do the short track at Barcelona. Time trial. Now we can do it on this one, can't we? There we go. National layout. That would be good. Let's do the national layout. Let's pick lunchtime. And we're going to use exactly the same settings. So car settings, we're on sports hards. Let's put that on. Let's put that on racing hards for a little bit more grip. We're going to use no assists. I don't believe we're going to use any assists. Let's have a look. Assists, traction control off, default ABS, counter steer assistance off. And let's go. We've got setting number 5 on. Yes, we have got setting number 5 as we discussed. Let's go and set that time. We've also got brake balance available, but now what I can immediately tell you on this is that the force feedback doesn't feel amazingly heavy, but we have just updated drivers and the associated factors. Oh, we've overshot. We have just updated drivers and firmware. So there could be some change in the standard wheel settings that I've got for setting 5. Because we haven't adjusted anything else. It's going to take a couple of laps to get a good feel. Let's see where we go. So first lap of 1:18.742. Got a spot of braking marker. Still not got it spot on, but I'm going to give it a good 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll probably cut through and you'll just see the highlights. So join us back here in a few minutes when we've just banged in a few good laps. We've got a Ghost there we can race against, so and the Ghost is set to 0.9. Car feels really good and planted. 1:17.2. I'd have got a definite good run off that lap time that last time round. Accelerating early was the key. Trail braked heavy into there. Got a real good run up the hill against that Ghost. Half a second up. That's your money maker. Half a second. So 16.7. Oh, I think we've found it. 16.7 is probably about where it is. Yeah, so there it is then. 16.781 is the lap time we're going to set. So 16.781. Potential optimal 16.626. Okay, so there's not much difference. And then we're going to change our wheel settings to the setting number 4. I've just done. Then we'll start again and see what we can do. So what will I notice immediately? The wheel is much, much heavier. Much, much heavier. I'm having to turn with a massive amount more force, which is no surprise. We're at 15 Newton meters. Which immediately tells me to turn it down. Car feels like it wants to slide more. The extra weight in the wheel doesn't really make much matter for any difference. A 17.4 outlap to start with. I'm just thinking about the other recommended settings for in-game. I felt the oversteer there really cut in. Car felt much faster through there. I'm measuring it against the Ghost, I guess. Be a 16.8 something. 16.6. All this extra force feedback. We're losing a bit of time as we come round there, but I think we're the fastest time on lap 2, weren't we? 6:30. No, this could be just rubbish commentary, but it feels like we are much faster with these settings. And now I feel I've got to make the changes to the internal settings from Gran Turismo. I think that's the next change. Getting a lot of wobble under brakes. Getting a lot of steering chatter, a lot of feedback through the wheel. Much quicker off the final corner. Got to within a tenth. Probably could double shift it there. But I'm going to brake on the 300. Which is really misleading because it's not 300 to the corner, but it actually feels really good with the full 15, you know. It feels really good. I know we've got no assists and we've got a really grippy downforce car, but we're always gaining on the exit here, but double shift to try and get the increase, but it doesn't look like that's going to work. Brake on the 300. See if we can close up any. Try and beat it on the exit of these two corners. going to be close. Not going to get there. All 16.7s. Feels like the front tyres are compressing under braking. And that's what's causing the wobble. Come on, chase him down. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the force feedback to 60%, which is where I was earlier. Let's see if we can do that here. Force feedback strength. I'm going to drop that down to 60%, which gives about 9 Newton meters, and go from there. Okay. See if that changes anything. Car feels like it's got a bit of slide in it now. Without that force feedback. Car feels very loose. But the recommended setting was 100. And that'd be a great workout over an hour-long race. Let's get used to it just a little bit. We've got the gains there in the last quarter. There we go, 16,580. So setting number 4 is the better one for us. And there's definitely masses of difference in changing force feedback strength. Just as you get used to it, you can get much quicker. It's about all the feel and sensation you can feel through the wheel and what force feedback it gives you and how much it communicates to you. Not really gaining, we had so much more. We still beat it. 16,401. Know what it's like with a force feedback around about 75%. So there's a bit more weight in the car. But then when the car feels really, really light. But it does tend to want to slide. But I think that's because I'm pushing it just that little bit too far. It's really good, really interesting. Interesting set of development. I've never really done this before in terms of trying to work out what settings are going to make me faster and what isn't. I guess it's just about having patience and the persistence to just try and improve. You see, we're on the money with our Ghost. There we go, there's an improve. $16,300. Optimal $16,043. Massive coast and rolls with this car. Really does help with a coast and roll. Just let the car roll into the corner. Tiny gains, not enough. Let's just have a little look at this setting again, and let's just increase that to 75. Kind of halfway between the two, and let's see if that gives me anything. Want a little bit more weight in the wheel. Want the car to feel a bit more connected to the track. When it's on a really loose, less force feedback setting, it kind of feels like it's sliding a lot more. Immediately, straight off the bat, more force feedback has given us that little bit more. 16,182. Look at that, 0.2 up through turn 1. Over revving just a little bit there. It's a short shift of this car, so the more you can give it underneath its optimal revs, the better. it loses puff just over 6,000 RPM. So it loves all the revs up to it. All the boost it can get. And then it sort of trails off over 6,000, so that was a bit feisty, wasn't it? 15.9750 optimal, 16.105. We're getting better. Now, whether this is just progression through practice and experience, I don't know. But it definitely feels like the wheel is communicating to me more. We've got one more set of settings to adjust. So we're going to leave that there, 16.105. Some half a second, I think, kind of quicker than when we started. Let's see that where that comes, 16.105, and we were 20 minutes doing that. So 15.896 optimal, which isn't too bad, I don't think. It's only measuring against myself, so it is what it is. So the only other thing that we've not talked about, there we go then. So 16.105 versus 16.781. There's this 0.6, almost, yeah, 0.6 of a second in there, which is massive. So we know setting number 4 now is the one for us. But here's the other one, controller settings. Now, I've got this set at 8 and 6. I've been told to change this down to 5 or 6, and then sensitivity down to 2. So let's see what that gives us. We've always been 8 and 6. Now the car feels like it's got nothing. There's no weight at all. There's no weight at all in the wheel. That's a massive change. I feel the need to turn the force feedback up to 100. We're not far away from that time. 16.134, first time out, no dramas. Wow, that's really something. So I'm going to put that force feedback back to 100%. Just before we do that, I'm going to do that on the wheel. High force feedback can be dangerous, it says. It wants me maximum 75. Okay, okay. Interesting. I definitely want more force feedback feel. There is some very subtle feel to it, but it's not as much as I want. So let's come out. Can we do it from here? Controller settings. I think we might be able to. Force feedback sensitivity. Force feedback sensitivity. I'm going to put that back to 8. There we go. That's got more feel in it. We've lost the ghost, but we expect that. Will we get the ghost back, or have we lost that? That feels much, much better. No ghost. Oh, we got the ghost. Press up of the controller and it brought it back. 300. The car feels like it's doing what I want it to do. Turned in slightly too late there. $16.043, fastest we've ever been. Could probably come out of turn 1 in second, to be honest. Save a gear change. Got into the throttle a long way back there. Accelerating early really is key. It would be really nice to get a 15. 15.812 is the optimal right now. Didn't do the second gear thing, but we should have. Making inroads. Overran that. Getting tighter on the apexes. There's a 15.968. Happy days, and we can go faster than that, I think. come out that corner in second and try and cut out a gear change. Revved it too high in second, maybe. Got a good run in third. Tried to do the same thing in second, cut out a gear change. Do it in the corner rather than in the acceleration phase. There we have a 15.687. Still making gains. Overran the curbs a little bit. 15.553, fastest optimal, fastest lap. And we're still making improvements. We're on the way to finding a better feel. That's got to be cut in the apex, definitely. That's got to go red. It didn't. But I think for the demonstration of what we're doing, I think the situation as we have it is what it is. So let's go and review what my setup situation is now then. A 15.553 fastest lap and the optimal on that lap. And we're still improving, which is good to see. So there you can see it, 15.553, 1.2 seconds quicker than where we started with our original setup. 30 laps in, maybe 30 minutes. And we're 15.553. So just to review, controller settings, controller steering sensitivity 10, that is for a controller, so that's nothing to do with this. Force feedback max torque 8, force feedback sensitivity 2, which feels really, really good. Let's go back to the Fanatec screen. So here it is then, folks. We've got the sensitivity on auto, force feedback strength on 75%, full force 100, natural damper 50. The natural friction's off, the inertia's off, interpolation filter on 2, and force effect intensity on 100. If we want to look at the exact setting we're using, it's on setting 4. And of course the advanced mode ticked at the top. We have got auto sensitivity, 75 full force. Full feedback, 75% force feedback strength, 100% on the full force, natural damper at 50, the natural friction and inertia both off, interpolation at 2, effect intensity at 100, and we're also at the force effect strength, spring effect strength, and damper effect strength all at 100%. Any of the settings below, you're free to set what you feel and what you want. It's all about you and your equipment. But also what I would like to bring to your attention is that the reason we're using this car is for a racing series we're going to be running at starting next weekend. Coming up next Saturday is the practice for these events. We're going to run through the first race of each series. But there you have it, starting on the 19th of July at Goodwood. We will be moving to Brands Hatch on the 26th, Catalunya on the 2nd. 9th of August we'll go to Lego Maggiore. 16th of August to the Nürburgring GP, and the 23rd of August to Alsace to finalise the process. This series is designed to be no assist, and with that setup we're going to be running 2 races, one on hard tyres only for 20 minutes and a race 2 which will be 40 minutes on mediums and soft, requiring you to trek out pit stops and to try and find the best strategy to win the race. It's open to any driver of any level, but there are only 16 places. And I have 8 drivers interested already. If you want to join us, if you think you have the skills to do so, please join us. And it's really about wanting to improve. At this point in time, there's no prizes, but as it is, there's no entry fee either, so it's free to join. And the first 16 people, or the first remaining 8 to join us, will get onto the table. It's the Radical SR3 SL13. Please come and join us. It would be interesting to have a really mixed and varied league. But thank you very much, folks. I hope you enjoyed what we've gone through today, and we'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care. Goodbye for now.